Question authority. Control my own destiny. Forcing change, breaking free from the gears of the machine. Changing my world so I can live. Execution, power shift. Changing my world so I can live. Execution, power shift. Power shift. Power shift. Power shift.
Hi everyone, this is Milo Silvestro from Fear Factory, and you're watching SAGAS.
What's going on, everybody? This is Corbin of the Serpentine Skipwith, and I'm here with a very special guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Everybody, I'm Milo Silvestro from Fear Factory.
All right. So to start off this interview, I want to know what was your childhood like, and how did you, what made you fall in love with music?
As I said in the past, I had the luck of being born in a musical family. Both my parents are professional musicians, so I guess that was the imprint for me. So my dad is a music producer, a blues guitar player. He's a lot into American acoustic music, like James Taylor, David Crosby, Paul Simon, American songwriters. And my mom is a singer and singing teacher. So, I guess that's the thing that gave me the imprint, and that they taught me the passion for music, basically. Then of course, metal came a little bit later when I was a teenager, like 14, 15. So yeah, I mean that's that's basically, I guess, what gave me the passion for music, and I actually started when I was 11. I just picked up a bass because I wanted to play a double bass, actually, but 11 years old, my dad couldn't buy me like a double bass. I was like, yeah, here's a bass. That was the very first instrument. But then the next year, when I was 12, I completely fell in love with percussions, drums, percussion. So that was my main instrument ever since. And so I'm still a drummer, a percussionist, but right now I'm a full-time metal singer. So, but yeah, that was my very first instrument, which not counting bass, of course, but that was my first instrument that became my main instrument. And so basically I started studying like from rock drums to Latin percussions, ethnic percussions. Later on, the music conservatory in Rome, I did classical percussions. So, and then during my teenage years, I started being interested in electronic music as well. So that was also, still is, musical background. So started being fascinated by synthesizer, turntables. So I just taught myself how to scratch on turntables, how to produce electronic music, blah blah blah. So that is a background for sure. And I think by the age of 19, started teaching myself how to scream. So that was a time where I I felt the need to learn how to do metal vocals and how to. I basically started to need an outlet to get certain things and feelings out of my system, basically.
Yeah.
Writing lyrics, all that stuff. So that was a sparkle that made me a metal singer, basically.
Yeah.
That's the typical, during your teenagery, pretty much each one of us go through the first breakup, hard uh, heartbreaks, whatever you call it, teenage dramas, and so I found safety metal for sure, and metal vocals and being metal vocalist and writing, I found it extremely powerful to heal me, basically, and prevent me from getting crazy. So that's how it started, basically.
Yeah. What was the first metal band that really blew you away, that you fell in love with?
Well, actually, the first metal band, I guess it was somewhere between Korn and Slipknot, I guess. Of course, back then when I started listening to metal, all those bands were at their peak, so they reached me in a way, friends, being like, "Yo, check out this band, check out this other band." So, of course, Slipknot, even Cold Chamber, all those bands. Fear Factory came a little bit later, but yeah, I think Slipknot are maybe the first band that I really deeply emotionally connected with. Because I remember that was my I remember my first huge breakup or should I say heartbreak. It was when I was 18. It was really bad. It was actually what caused it. What caused me? It was the uh, it was actually when I first started to um, deal with mental health, actually. So and Slipknot was actually very powerful in uh, helping me getting through that. And I was like, "Wow, this is really powerful. This is really it gives you power, to face this terrible darkness." And so I think, yeah, them and also Korn are the first bands that I really connected with. And then Cold Chamber, uh, immediately after the next year, Chimera. So yeah, those are the bands that helped me through. For the first time, helped me through some dark times. So.
Nice. All fantastic bands. I remember when I was a teenager, I went through a Korn, Slipknot, and a Disturbed phase.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
I collected CDs.
Yeah, Disturbed came later to me, but yeah, I mean, I was obsessed with particularly the first album. So
Sickness.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Before you taught yourself how to scream and sing, did anyone tell you that you could sing? Did you get any encouragement from anyone, or was that all self-taught?
No, I mean, I had like I said, my mom was a singing teacher, is a singing teacher and singer, and so even though I started singing just when I was 19, uh, singing was something that was really familiar and common in my family. So, I actually started 19, but I always had this musicality, either from like a genetic reason or just because I was surrounded by singers every day, so that was something that was, I guess, it was there. But then when I was 19, I was like, no, I need uh, to get all this negative shit out of my system. I need a powerful way, and then metal singing came and helped. And so yeah, it was real like a urge that I felt that period. Um, and so yeah, that was basically it. Back then, I was discovering new bands like Devil Driver. I was and I was uh, uh, falling in love with Cold Chamber. So then I discovered that they had the same singer, and I was like, no way. And that's so far I was for some reason the first metal singer that um, inspired me in metal singing. So that was my very first how do you say the first singer that really uh, got me to you know duplicate his screams. I was listening to the records and Devil Driver's Cold Chamber records, tried to emulate that gnarly sound, which I really loved. He's got a really unique scream, and that was that is a big influence on my technique for sure. And then after that, a bunch of other bands, Mudvayne, Disturbed, like you said, you name it, Dracologic, Motor Grader, the list goes on and on. Spine Shank. So, and all those bands, the vocalists of all those bands are a huge inspiration for me. And so, and then of course Fear Factory, which came a little bit late, which was 2007, I think. And that was because a band member passed me discography, and I checked them out, and I was like, wow, it's fucking amazing, blah blah blah. And then it snowballed into obsession. So, and of course, Bert was my new uh, vocal inspiration, and I was so obsessed that it shaped my vocal style even more. So
Speaking about vocals, is there any singer to this day that 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 has a growl or a scream that even you can't do, that you find impossible, that blows your mind? Like, how the fuck does he do this or her?
nowadays,
Anyone, any band, you're like, how the fuck do they do that?
there, I mean, even but well, one of my favorite, which he's mostly known for Five Finger Death Punch, which is a great band, but I'm particularly obsessed with his work with the first Motograder album, and also a band which not everybody knows. They just made an album they never played live. It's called uh, Ghost Machine, and it's him, Motograted drummer, and a bunch of other musicians. But it's really cool and instrumental and instrumental, experimental, and he's got a fucking, it's his screams are, I don't know. I was trying to replicate his screams lately, these days in the car. He's got a weird I don't know how to describe it, but his sound textures, it's really, there is a song which I don't know if you know, but it's called "Shelter" by Ghost Machine, and that's the final part where he, all you hear is vocals. The music stopped, and you just hear he is screaming basically. Uh, and he goes like, "You fucking whore, you fucking god," and there is some, there's a lot of information. He screams, and I'm like, how the fuck does he do that? Uh, and so that's a great example. It's really, I don't know, and it's cool because all this sound texture convey a lot of emotions. There's pain, sadness, and anger, and fucking desperation. I don't know. It's you hear this kind of weird, yeah, fuck, yeah. I
Yeah.
just don't know, but it's whoa, it's orgasmic. So yeah, it's a great example of that.
Yeah. For me, a singer that always blows my mind, and obviously I'm not a musician, so I can't talk. But for me, a singer that always blows my mind is Danny Filth, Cradle of Filth.
Mm-hmm.
His high pitch, at least back in the day. I don't know if he can do it now, but back in the day, his high pitch he used to hit, his octaves. It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Danny Filth is it's crazy. I mean, he's got really his screams got a lot of personality. I mean, he was one of those metal singers, especially in that scene, in that, should I say black metal, symphonic death, black metal, whatever. He stands out. He's got a huge personality. Back then I wasn't too that extreme music yet, but they just caught my attention for whatever reason. And I remember that I was listening to them with a friend of mine that got me to them. And I remember there was a song. I don't know if it was like "Her Ghost in the Fog," maybe.
yeah,
Her Ghost in the Fog. And there was a part where we called it a seagull because that's how it sounded like. It's the
yeah,
part that goes like. Yeah, that was hilarious in a good way. Like and made us happy in a way. Oh my fucking god, this is fucking crazy. And so yeah, it's Dangerfield. It's great. It's got multiple tones. It's got like the this what we call the seagull. It's really high. It's got the mid tone. Then it's got the lows. It's great.
yeah. He's definitely one of my favorite bands. Singers. Also, the band Him, the Finnish band, Valvalo. Dude is one of my favorite singers. He has so many different ranges. Very low, very high. Yeah, love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite bands. Um, yeah. So, all right, going from here. Tell me how did you get started with Fear Factory? Like going from the very beginning, how did that opportunity even come up?
Well, as simple as it gets, it was January 2020. It was shortly before the lockdown, the COVID lockdown kicked in Italy, because here was very soon, very bad. And I was okay. The first thing that happened, I just posted a cover on YouTube of a bunch of Soul Vending Machine songs, all uh, squeezed together in a medley. So it was a whole video made by song bits basically, and and me singing on top of it in my studio, and with GoPro and blah blah blah. And I posted on YouTube. It was January 1st. I remember it was like, New Year, new covers. Just new. Uh, let's just start a new thing. I never had the constant or the dedicate the discipline to being a YouTuber, but every now and then I was like, oh, let's post a cover, and for some reason it was Soul in the Machine. It was Fear Factory. It could have been shit, like other bands or other, but it was Fear. There's a lot of story. So I posted Solving Machine Medley, and then I looked for on Facebook for a page, the Fear Factor 10 page that had the highest number of followers, basically, which happened to be New Breed of Fear Factory, which I think you probably know that is run by two Australian guys, Max and Ben.
Yep.
They run a Fear Factorium, which is the I think the biggest Fear Factory dedicated museum ever in the world. I don't know if you saw their video. They have
Haven't been there.
tons of but I don't know if they're from Melbourne. I think they're from Perth, maybe, or no, Perth. I think
yeah.
they're from Sydney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, they're their Fear Factory is crazy. They have just all kind of memorabilia, but anyway, so I follow I requested to enter in take part of the Facebook page, and I posted a cover, and I didn't know that band members were there.
Yeah.
And Dino was there, of course, and so I posted it. After a few minutes, he was the first to comment, and he was like, "Dude, it's fucking amazing," and I was like, "Wow." And I'm really honored, that the master himself, complimented me like that. So, but that was it. I mean, that was okay. That was just receiving compliments from Dino, which was great. Great thing already. Then the lockdown kicked in. Long story short, I posted another cover. During the lockdown, every musician was pretty much like trying to kill some boredom, with the lockdown and shit. So I posted another cover. It was like, okay, just do it. There was no expectation behind that, and it happened to be Resurrection and Timelessness, which if you listen to the record, they almost sound like like a single song basically, because it's a continued sound. So I was like, well, let's do like covers of both, and it was heartfelt because those songs are really important to me. Like, those are one of those typical Fear Factory songs that got me to the darkest of times. So when I sing those songs, to me, it's almost like praying in a way. I'm not religious at all, so I guess that's my spiritual dimension. And so yeah, just put the cover online, put in a New Breed page, and Dino again was the first one to comment on it. And it was, you did an amazing job, blah blah. And again, it was like, thank you very much. I couldn't, that was a lot surreal already. I couldn't I couldn't know that what was coming my way. That was the one of the highest expectations ever, to have Dino to congratulate with myself, be like, you did an amazing job. So few days later, 4 or 5 days later, he contacted me with a private message on Messenger, and he was like, I've been following your covers, and I must say I'm really impressed, blah blah blah. So can I ask you a bunch of questions? And it was really surreal, because it was 7 a.m. here nearly. I just woke up just to go to the bathroom, take a piss, and I was really numb. and I grabbed my phone. I was like, what the actual fuck? Couldn't believe it. Am I dreaming or what? I mean, not to mention Dino That's always been one of my top three or something music idols. Him and Burnsy Bell. Like Fear Factory. I was always, since I discovered them, I was really obsessed with them. I had pictures with them. I had when I saw them live, blah blah. So I was really extremely a fan of them, and they were idols. So can you imagine, the feeling of having your idol messaging you and saying, you did an amazing job. Can I ask you questions? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So that was really surreal. And so I long story short, I just said, Dina, what a pleasure, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, ask me whatever you want. And he was like, can you do a bunch more covers for me? And I was like, well, I was kind of understanding already, but it was like, okay, let's not fly too high.
Yeah.
I don't want to create too much big expectations, so we just see what happens. But that was weird. So I was like, okay. And he was like, can you do linchpin? I was like, yeah, sure, blah blah blah. And so I started recording covers basically, and but nobody knew nothing about auditions or anything like that. And as you probably know, back then, 2020, Fear Factory was still going through a legal suit with ex-members Wolbers and Herrera. So the band was kept from doing anything, basically, like tours or records, whatever. So and Bert didn't leave the band yet. So I was like, so what? But my mindset was, let's not ask questions. Let's just see where he goes. So I started doing covers, but it was like, okay, send them to me, but don't post them yet. And then a few months later, I saw an interview of him saying that he was auditioning for vocalist for an solo project, basically. That was like, oh, I saw this interview, so that's why you're sending me covers. He was like, yeah, that's why I'm sending you covers to do. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's I imagined that, but and that was really a super high expectation already. Like singing with Dino in a solo project, even if it wasn't Fear Factory. But up until the actual day, he was like, okay, now you're gonna audition for Fear Factory. Up until that day, I never ever thought I could aim that far.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I kept doing covers that he asked me to do, a bunch of Divine Heresy covers and a lot of Fear Factory covers, and he sent me instrumentals, and so by June/July 2020, he gained back control of the band. He bought the name, and in September 2020, Burton C. Bell announced his departure from the band, and 3 or 4 days after that, Dino messaged me and was like, so right now I'm going to have audition for the spot of Fear Factory vocals. Do you still want to try? I was like, what? It was even more crazy. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is getting crazier and crazier. I just can't keep up with that. And like I said before, up until the minute before he asked me that, I never thought it could aim that far. I never thought I could measure up to it,
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, this is unbelievable. Can you imagine, being asked for audition to sing for your favorite band? It's just crazy, man. It's just so I was like, fuck yeah, and so he kept giving me covers to do, but I couldn't fly to LA for a physical audition up until November 2021, which that was when the US travel ban was lifted. So and Gino was asking, can you come? Can you come? But it was like, fortunately not, you guys had the travel ban. So fortunately eventually on November 2021, they lifted the travel ban. So the first day they lifted it, which was November 8th, I booked the ticket, and I was in LA, and I spent a week with him. And that was I was very nervous the first day because, can you imagine it? I met him in live shows. I took pictures. I gave him a demo or something, but that was actually me and him in a room together. And I had to sing on instrumentals on the PA. It was first day it was really fucking nervous. But then it kept getting better and better. The first two songs, it was really like quivering and shit, but then it just got more and more comfortable. And yeah, so he gave me a second call, and it was like, oh, okay, like let's meet tomorrow. And we spent like a week together. And it was cool, And so at the end of that week, he was like, yeah, I mean, I guess we can do that, But then later on, he told me that he still but he was still exploring a bunch of other options. But then it was like, there was something that I liked about your, your vocal style, whatever. So then eventually I was like, okay, let's get you. So and we were supposed, it was 2021, late 2021. We were supposed to do the tour that we did this year with Static X. We're supposed to do it last year, 2022. So but then it got postponed. So I had another, it was supposed to be February 2022. It got postponed because of COVID. So I had another year, like another 3 year basically. And that was cool because I could train a little bit, build a little bit of stamina and breath, and getting physically and mentally ready for tour, because that, I've been a professional musician for 20 years, but this is another level. This is just, so that was, I think that was good because I had one more year to prepare myself to face tours basically. And then this year, February 2023, I fifth, and on should be somewhere around February 10th or 11th. I got announced, and and that's it.
Oh man, what a story! That's incredible. Congratulations to you, if I didn't already say it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, is there anything? Actually, first of all, what's your? Do you have any kind of relationship with the original singer, like since being accepted? Like, do you talk to him at all, or
The
does he
original
talk to you?
singer, Bertie Bell?
Yeah. Like,
No.
have you guys talked?
The only time in my life where I could talk to Bert was when I was just a fan. When they played here in Rome in 2012, you can still find pictures of me and him and me and Dino. And that was the only time where I could, and the first time, by the way, that I could talk with them and, see them in real life. I mean, not just on stage, but just hanging out, and had the quickly the chance to take pictures and share a few words, and that was the only time. That's it. But just as a fan,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, he basically just as far as I know, he doesn't talk even with Dino for more than 1 year, I think. So yeah, it's just silent in that way.
No, that's fair enough. So so is there anything you can tell us and the people watching eventually about the upcoming, whenever it comes out, the upcoming Fear Factory album with you as a singer? Like, what will that be like? What's in the progress right now? Is there anything you can tell us?
Well, at first the idea was to start recording on July, but then eventually we basically we ended the last South American tour on June 9th. Then I flew back to Italy, where I'm at right now, my hometown in Rome, and I was supposed to fly back to LA like mid-July to start recording a new album, but then Dino was like, we don't have time. Maybe we're gonna record a single, and I don't even know if we'll have time to record a single in the first place because well, we were getting a lot of offers from promoters for shows, and he's booking all of them basically because he wants the band to get back on the road and to start to rebuild again a band live credibility basically because the band has been gone for almost 7 years. So I guess Dino is giving priority to live shows and tours. So there's nothing 100% sure yet, but I really think of course the album is not going to be recorded this year. Most likely the next year somewhere, I don't know, maybe on summer. I don't know. We're going to have another tour on late January and a bunch of other things I can remember right now. But yeah, I think with all probability we're gonna record new music next year.
Nice. So are any of those live tours in Australia anytime soon?
We've been talking about it, and I think he told me we were supposed. We were supposed like the idea was to play Australia next year, so somewhere next year. I mean, again, there's nothing 100% sure yet, but that's what I heard. So it should be some a short Australian run somewhere next year. I really hope so because I've never been to Australia, and also I've heard that that's a really strong Fear Factory fan base core. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to do that. Um, so yeah, don't put me on that, but most likely next year, we should get there.
Well, if you do come to Australia, we got to meet in person. We got to hang out. I'd love to meet you in person.
Absolutely, man.
Be sick. Yeah. So yeah, you're the new singer. You've got this whole new bright future ahead of you. Like, you must feel this weight on your shoulders. It must be crazy because you're the new face of Fear Factory in a way. You're the singer. You're the new face. How does that feel? Is it still overwhelming?
Oh yeah, I mean, totally overwhelming. I mean, it's like you said, it's a huge weight on your shoulders. Even though I thought it could have been much worse for me, for my mental health, but I fortunately enough, I dealt with it way better than I thought I could do. So, it's still a huge thing, a huge life change, a huge, uh, sometimes being somewhat famous, or having success can fuck with your mind, basically. We have a lot of examples, even like tragic ones, unfortunately. Um, and since I've been struggling with mental health myself for half my life, basically, uh, I was a little bit scared of that, but then I was like, no, I can do that, because in this business there are, good sides and bad sides are, they're balanced in a way that, you know bad sides, of course, you know hating, we didn't get a lot of hate. Dino was, you know thought, and I thought as well, that we would be getting way more hate than what we actually got, because that's normal. When you change a when you change a drummer, guitar player, that's just the thing. And people can be butthurt already. But when it's a singer, and it's like an iconic singer like Bertie Bell, people are and still are a lot of people, not a lot of people, but few comments here and there, Rick Fear Factory. So yeah, I mean, it's normal, but fortunately enough, we didn't get as much hate as we expected. Um, and that's a good sign, because that means that people dug me in a way. They thought it was a good replacement, and I'm really thankful and humbled for that, because that's not took for granted,
Yeah.
Especially if you consider Fear Factory fan base. It's a really, I know this is a really tough one. It's tough because they're really dedicated, and I'm part of it. I'm still a fan, ironically.
Yeah.
So they're really dedicated, and when you're a lot, overly dedicated to a band, it's almost, like I said before, almost like a religion. So when a band member changes, it's a trauma for a fan. It's like seeing a family member being substituted, almost.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck is this guy, and that's what happens with band. And it happened to me as well, when favorite bands of mine changed drummers or singers, whatever. So yeah, I mean, and that was natural. We expected it, but we were so stoked to see that the hate was not as much as we expected. And so yeah, I mean, the bad sides of this whole new life change and new adventure, were bearable, basically. Uh, Another bad side that I can mention is the exhaustion from touring, but that
Mm.
was something that I knew I would be facing, and and that comes from the whole package. So just have
Yeah.
to learn to deal with it, and that's it. So
Yeah. And I think an important question that everyone wants to know, because you're from Italy,
mhm.
what is the correct way to cook pasta? I need to know from the professionals.
Well, cooking pasta is really simple, man. I mean, you just there are certain things you must not do, because I've heard about a lot of foreigners doing things that they shouldn't do, like putting olive oil in boiling water, stuff like that. You didn't really want to do that. You just need to boil water at salt, like the big kind, the big salt. Not so much, just a punch, however you call it, and and when it boils, you just add pasta, and if you wanna, that's real. The cook is really um, subjective, but the tradition wants it to be al dente, which is not overly cooked, so it keeps a little bit of texture, and it's not super soft. But again, that's up to you. You surely you don't want to overcook it, because that's going to be too soft. It's going to lose its texture and stuff. But that's it, and then the condiment, the sauce, whatever, it depends on which one you choose.
Yeah.
Each one of them has got different preparation. The very basic tomato sauce preparation, you just take a can of tomato sauce, unless you know how to actually make tomato sauce, which I don't know. uh, but if you have that knowledge, more power to you. But yeah, just take a can of tomato sauce. You just do what we call sofrito, which is a basic preparation for tomato sauce. You just heat some olive oil and a garlic slice in a pan, and when the garlic gets a little bit roasted and we say golden, then that's the time when you pour the tomato sauce, and then you just you know how do you say, mix it every now and then with a wooden spoon and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Just add a little bit of salt. That's it. But shit tons of pasta recipes. People always
Yeah.
think that Italian food is all about tomato, meatball spaghetti and pepperoni pizza, which by the way is not even Italian, but this is way more than that. So
I hope one day I can come visit your country and try your food, because I've heard you guys make the best pasta. It's a cliche here, can't help it. You guys make the best pasta, and I want to try it.
oh yeah, I mean that's no secret, because it's our thing. It's like uh looking for the best burritos. They're from Mexico, right? So because
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it, it's their thing. So yeah, I mean and and the cool thing about Italian food is that the overall quality of the food resources, the the quality is really, you can feel it when you eat it. It's really we really care about the quality of it. It's really uh so even like I noticed in America, they like to, I don't know if maybe it's like that in Australia too, but they like to mix a lot of flavors. The more the better.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I was, and I had some decent pizza in America. Not all of them were good, but some of them were not Italian level, but still good. But I could eat just margarita, because all the other kind of pizzas were like, you know, too much shit on it, like chicken on a pizza. It's just not you want to do that. And Dino was like, "Man, why are you ordering always margarita? That's plain." I was like, "That's pizza." Like, why are you ordering a burrito with just rice and beans and I don't know, and meat? Why are you not putting shit tons of other things? I mean, that's
Yeah.
how you want to do that. That's a very basic pizza. And that's good, because even though it's basic, if the ingredients are good, uh, it's gonna be enough. I think that's a cool analogy you can make with music as well. When you have a cool guitar tone, you don't need to play like overly technical riffs. You play like the right notes and the right groove, and that's it. If the tone is right, that's that's the basic foundation of Italian mentality. Italian food mentality. So
Well, I can't wait for the next Fear Factory album, Pizza the soundtrack. It's gonna be sick. You're gonna make this. It'd be delicious and headbang at the same time. It'd be
Yeah, we could do like how do you say listening party of the new Fear Factory album with one stand with all burritos and tacos and one stand with pizza and pasta.
that would be sick. I would join that. I would pay to join that. Oh man, you got too many good ideas.
I think
yeah,
that would pay off.
Make your own cooking show, music cooking show. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, you're an amazing guy. You know, it's so good to have you on the band. That yeah, like I just can't wait to hear what the new single or new album will sound like, and hopefully next year I can come meet you in person and yeah, just feel this vibe of you, this energy in person.
Oh, well, absolutely, man. You know, once we get to Melbourne, you know, first thing, hey man, I'm here.
That would be sick. I'll be on my way. Fucking spend the day together. Just show you all of what Melbourne's about.
That's very cool, man. Actually, I was always in love with Australia because my love for animals. You know, when I was a kid, I was in love with animals already, and um, so I and I had periods where I was obsessed with a certain animal, you know, and it was a period with kangaroos. So that you know that was when my obsession with Australia started. Then I discovered even more weird animals. Like you guys have the weirdest faunas ever, you know, and that's very cool. Like there was a time, and I was a little child, you know, I was already a little bit autistic, you know, with animals and stuff. So I was searching for weird shit like echidna. You know, echidna is
Yep.
the weird Australian animal, which is like an anteater with long nose, but it's got all spikes like a porcupine. It's a really weird creature. So so yeah, I was real obsessed with all these animals, and then I had a younger brother. Then he lived 2 years in Australia, and so he showed me photos and stuff, you know, and always uh, told me nothing but good things about Australia, and so yeah, it's you know, it's on my bucket list from years. So
Well, as soon as you come to Melbourne, we're going to the zoo.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. After your concert or before it, whatever, go to the zoo and you can see all the crazy animals you want.
Wow, I actually have two pet lizards, which one of them had he's actually from Indonesia, but the uh, the species, you know, there are other subspecies of the same animal that lives in Australia, and that's the blue tongue skink. I don't know if you know about it.
Yep.
Uh he's actually hanging around my terrace right now, and I'm looking if I can. Oh, here we go. So this is my buddy Bluetooth. Come here, buddy. There we go.
Wow.
Blue tongue. You probably see those guys a lot in there, right?
Yep.
And there are few Indonesian species like this, but there are a lot of Australian species like the northern, eastern, western Australian. You know, so yeah, a lot of cool animals for sure.
Nah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to show you around. Yeah, I'll take you to the zoo and you can see kangaroos. You can see any kind of animal you want. We have it all.
Let's do that. The only problem I have with Australian fauna is tarantulas because I'm arachnophobic. So
Yep, same.
that would be a challenge for me for sure.
Oh, don't worry, I'm the same. Like, whenever I see a spider, I get my girlfriend to kill it. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like,
do you happen to have tarantulas in your house?
I hope not. Now you have me looking around.
That's a possibility, right?
Oh yeah, there's been massive ones before. Yeah. But so far I'm
You're
safe.
looking for tarantulas?
Yeah, now I am. We worried.
I found out recently on YouTube about this creepy crawling thing, which is called the Huntman spider.
Yep.
Which apparently it lives in Australia, and they told me they like to nest behind the toilet, which is the creepiest fucking shit ever.
You just
and
give me nightmares. Oh, actually,
just watching pictures. You know, I my brother was like, you know, what's that? So my brother was showing me, you know, like it was like 10 years ago when he came back here. He was showing me pictures of Australia. So I was like, oh, take my phone, you know, just scroll the pictures. And I was okay. So this is you know, the farm where I used to work. This is Melbourne. This is Perth. Blah blah blah. And then I run into a spider picture. It was as big as the whole phone screen. So I scrolled through the spider picture. I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh yeah, that was a spider. You know, it used to be in the same room I was sleeping. You know, it was just over there. You know, on the wall. Are they fucking crazy sleeping with spiders, bro? Yeah, he's not poisonous. You know, it's you know he's harmless. Yeah, he's harmless, but he's bigger than you, for fuck's sake.
Oh man, I'm not sleeping tonight.
That was fun.
Wow. This interview took a very dark turn.
Yeah, right. Have you ever seen one in real life?
Of course. Wow. All the time.
That's creepy.
Oh, it's fucked. When I was in primary school, my friend, I was 12 years old. My friend, he was in the classroom, and a huntsman was crawling over him, like all over his body, and he was screaming. Oh, terrifying.
Shit. Oh man, that's creepy as shit. They're creepy creatures. You know, this is I really, you know, just for whatever reason, I'm getting better at tolerating them. Like I can kinda watch pictures and videos on my phone, but I'm still like, you know, this is disgusting. Oh my god. You know, so yeah, the struggle is real.
Well, I have to say thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I'm not going to sleep tonight, as I said. But look, this has been a fun conversation. As soon as you come to Melbourne, you got to hit me up. We're going to go to the zoo, not to see spiders, and all the other cool things. And yeah, like I said, I can't wait for your new single. Eventually a new album. I can't wait to rock out to that.
Absolutely, man. Let's keep in touch. And the first thing, if we stop in Melbourne, you know, let's hang out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll send it to you. Once you send me the intro, I'll send it back to you all edited and we can post it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We catch up later for the intro. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No, all good. Have a good day.
Okay, you too, man. Bye.